Warning. I was sick with whatever nasty shit is going around right now, so I may mumble, lose my place, or forget a point I was trying to make. Well, I might do these things more than I normally do. Moment 2018. Welcome to Bitching About Movies
2016.
This is Frank. This is Frank, joined by
Chris Antoine.
Okay, going full name there.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey man.
Add me on Roblox.
What? Add you on Roblox?
Yeah.
Man, I didn't want to start in a tangent, but when I worked at, we'll call it Game Store, kids bought the shit out of those Roblox cards.
I know.
And I never got it.
Game's fucking stupid.
Did you play Roblox?
Me and Phil played it one time for like a night where it's like, what the fuck is this? It couldn't be dumber.
Okay. I just love that you and Phil just had to find out.
It was free. You gotta find out.
Phil's a good friend. Shout out to Phil, who probably doesn't listen to this podcast.
He's got to download it now.
Yeah, I know. But the fact that he just goes on these journeys with you, such as spending a night playing Roblox, like, that's true friendship.
It is. That's my hetero life mate.
Yeah.
We're much like a partner that we'll talk about today.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
In search of your hetero life mate. Get you a man that will play Roblox with you. It's our first lesson of 2018. Anyway, this show has a topic. It's revisiting Kevin Smith. So at the end, we'll talk about the Jersey Trilogy.
I didn't know you were revisiting. I saw you put revisiting. You say you've done Kevin Smith before?
No, revisiting Kevin Smith as a viewer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like you'd done it before. It's like part two. You mean
no?
You mean like coming back because you haven't watched his movies in 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think I would double up on any movies, and not going to spoil how I feel about these, but I don't think I would start with these movies.
No.
It's doubling up. You can just listen to our old podcast. We start this show off with some trailer talk. Interesting thing about this episode, I had a hard time finding films for anything, for any of the segments. It's kind of a dry time. So we'll probably get to the topic sooner than usual.
What? I guess transition period. I don't know much about how movies come out and shit.
I thought 2017 started off a lot stronger than this, and I was talking to Matt, the other co-host of the podcast, about it. He's like, he said he didn't want to see anything this month except for the movie we're about to discuss, and I agreed with him. I started doing like one of those most anticipated lists.
Nice.
And my first movie is Black Panther, and that's not out till mid-February.
Okay.
So that's kind of disappointing and scary.
I just saw like the first trailer for it the other day.
It looks good.
It does look good.
A couple trailers for things that we thought looked interesting, starting with Mom and Dad.
All right.
What'd you think of this? It's a horror thriller. It's going to be out on video on demand and streaming services where you buy stuff. So rental. January 19th. Just give people an idea what it is. A teenage girl and her little brother must survive a 24-hour period where there's mass hysteria amongst parents turns them violent on their kids. So it's like
it looks like a pseudo zombie take. You know, they're all like screaming like zombies, chasing like zombies.
Are you familiar with the film Cooties?
No.
Okay, I think it's Elijah Wood. I could be mixing him up with another short white guy, but it's about.
Harry Potter was in that one.
I think Rainn Wilson's in it too. And Cooties is about a school where all the kids turn into like zombies.
I think I was the crooked nose.
Owen Wilson?
No, I just said Wilson. Anyway, go.
Man, I hope somebody finds these jokes funny. But yeah, in Cooties, it's all the kids that are zombies attacking the parents, and it just was too familiar for me on this one that, you know, it's a role reversal where all the parents are crazy, and there's some scenes of Nicolas Cage going batshit, which is going to be why anyone is interested in this movie.
Do you ever watch Wild at Heart?
Oh, yeah.
When's the last time you watched that?
Well, I don't. I watched that, like, 20-minute compilation of Nicolas Cage, like, going crazy at my friend's house, because we'll get high and watch YouTube videos.
Fair.
And that's one of the heaviest rotated YouTube video in the basement. Yeah, it's fantastic. I don't know, man. Looking at this, I watched the trailer twice. I think it's a little deceptive. Like, yeah, they definitely pull apart all the Nicolas Cage freaking out scenes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not within context of anything. I don't know if this is going to be any good.
No, I don't think so. It's kind of a cool idea-ish. I don't know. It just doesn't do anything for me. Nothing does anything for me, though. It's gonna be really good. I don't know.
I mean, if it's free, I would do it. I mean, I could go if I have like.
Is it just going on Netflix or something?
No, video on demand. So like the movies you order from your cable box.
So this is worse than straight to DVD,
No,
or is it the 21st century straight to DVD?
So yeah, I buy a lot of movies and rent a lot of movies online, so I probably know this better than most. Not really. Like, it's not death knell. It's not even an insult. A lot of indie movies will come out like day and date, like stuff you'll see in your art house theater. You can rent or
That's fair.
even
They don't
buy.
get like a big theatrical release.
Yeah,
so this is kind of the same deal. But
yeah,
it looks like it had a pretty good production value.
It does, and it has, Nicolas Cage, but, you've seen his face on a lot of things that have only been in and out of red boxes and nowhere else. It's got Selma Blair. I don't know if you remember her. She's like a late 90s teen slasher drama
She's in Scream,
mainstay.
right?
I don't think Selma... No.
What did I just watch her in then? I feel like I just watched
She's
her
in Hellboy. She's like Hellboy's main squeeze.
Yeah.
I'd never say main squeeze.
It's fucking dumb.
Except so now.
That's the first time I've ever heard you say that.
Yeah.
It's appropriate.
Hey man, I'm sick. I didn't mention I'm sick as fuck, and I barely feel like doing this. She's also in Cruel Intentions. She plays like the naive girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't watched either of those recently, so I don't know. Maybe she just kind of in my head. I can replace her face with the person from Scream.
She's also very vocal on Twitter right now with what's going on in the industry. So you may have just seen her tweeting.
No,
possibly.
Okay,
that's not it. Okay.
I don't have a Twitter. I keep getting told I need to get one.
Mr. Cool Guy. Yeah, if you have a podcast, you have to have a Twitter.
Yeah. All right, I'll start one.
Yeah, back to Mom and Dad though. I'd say like $5 is the most I'd spend on it, and that's just if you're in the mood. My girlfriend, we went and saw that Ghost Rider movie with Nicolas Cage, and it was worth it just for his transformation scene.
Yeah.
So I'm not.
Is that in rotation in that video?
It's hard to find on YouTube now. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He's like describing the fire. If I have a clip, I'll put a clip of it in the podcast if we can find it and rip it. But yeah, man, Nicolas Cage going crazy isn't enough to do it for me anymore.
No, I don't think it ever was.
Yeah. And maybe one podcast we'll talk about like the weird movies that are actually worth seeing with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Next up is
Wild at Heart. It's definitely one of them.
Yeah, Wild at Heart is one of them. Is a movie titled Futile and Stupid Gesture. It's about the rise of National Lampoon from magazine to film production company. It's going to be on Netflix. It comes out January 26th. And I'm really excited for this.
Me too. It looked awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I was definitely excited about it. I like anything that does like a cut in kind of third person perspective about it. It's kind of like him talking.
Like, Martin Mull, which I was skeptical at first. I'm thinking like, why you don't see Chevy Chase or Bill Murray in this. I thought the cast choices for each character is really good. Like,
and then they commented on that in the trailer. He's like, these people don't look anything like them.
Exactly. It's very self-aware, which any sort of National Lampoon tribute or mockumentary or whatever you want to call this should be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought I was just biased because I'm really excited for the because of the topic, but I think it definitely
looks cool. It looks funny. I'm excited.
It does, and it's got Domhnall Gleeson in it, Emmy Rossum, Natasha Lyonne, Seth Green, Joel McHale, Will Forte.
I love Will Forte
in most of it. Yeah,
so I just keep thinking of him from. You ever seen Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie?
I did. I think I told you this.
Your fucking swords. He's just trying to get rid of this. So good. My personal favorite Will Forte role is that one.
Yeah, when Will Forte is used properly, he's fantastic. So yeah, that one will be out January 26th, and that trailer definitely sold me on that one. Finally, this is kind of a sign of the times. This is the horror movie Truth or Dare. Let me tell you, some people on my social media, like personal friends of mine, acquaintances we'll call them, they were really excited. They shared this trailer for Truth or Dare, which is going to be out April 27th, and they're like, yeah, we gotta go to see, another dumb teen slasher movie.
I'm so done. I'm so over it.
I mean,
I don't want it anymore. Like, why is there no good horror movies?
Well, Blumhouse is like the most successful studio right now with these movies, and that's because they're all made for like $10 million. You can look up. There's a formula they have for this.
Yeah, no shit.
There's like they're $10 million horror movies, which typically are going to make between 30 or 50 million. Then you have stuff like Get Out, which was also put out through Blumhouse, which is a huge success.
Yeah, but Get Out's like cerebral, for lack of a better word.
I agree. That was like kind of they just lucked out with that one. That Jordan Peele decided to make his movie through them, or maybe they're the only ones that gave him a chance. They also did Happy Death Day, which you could say is almost as dumb of an idea. That's the horror movie.
Yeah, Groundhog Day.
The Groundhog Day
movie,
one
yeah.
with the
Did you watch that?
college girl. I did.
Was that good?
Yeah,
I thought about watching it the
It's
other
okay.
night.
It's not terrible, but I mean, it's only a couple steps away from being as dumb as a Truth or Dare horror movie.
And the problem is, it's like they find this like this is definitely like, I don't want to picture, or I don't want to pinpoint the dude. I'm sure I could come up with the character, but it's definitely some dude's like, dude, I got an idea for a horror movie, dude. And then he's just like, you gotta play Truth or Dare or you die.
Yeah.
Like, and then like somebody fucking writes it. Like, they're all based off of like one like flimsy concept, and they just build like a whole movie about it, and they just use like jump scares or fucking creepy imagery. Like, it sucks. It sucks.
It does. This came up on the podcast before when we were discussing the Scream trilogy, how it spawned like a 3-year period of teen slasher movies, and they were just as corny as this, and then they kind of went away, and you didn't see them for like 10 or 15 years. With the success of Blumhouse, I mean, these movies make their money in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
So they're going to keep
love
pumping
horror
them out.
movies. But no, these aren't horror movies. This is like, I don't know how to explain it. This is like the McDonald's of horror movies.
Yeah, they're not horror. I mean, it's got attractive people in it, and they're probably going to get killed. You just guess, which attractive people are going to die. You may see some nudity and some gore.
If you're lucky.
And and every one of these is going to have from the producers of Happy Death Day and Get Out on the poster now, because Happy Death Day made like over $100 million easily. I remember being shocked at that. It's one of the higher grossing movies. So, you bring that up, and I have actually some trivia on that I discovered accidentally today. But so you're out on Truth or Dare. It just looks too stupid,
no,
right?
It does look stupid. Okay. I'm tired of it. I want a new Hellraiser movie with like good animation.
Yeah. The best Hellraiser movie would be that Pinhead just turns up in this movie, and you don't know it's a Hellraiser movie, and he just kills everybody.
Yeah, what if somebody's making a horror movie?
I've always had this idea
he shows up.
where you just hide the fact that it's a horror movie. Like, you have this movie, you pitch it as a romantic comedy, it's in broad daylight, and like 20 minutes in, someone just gets stabbed, and then it turns gruesome. But everyone has to like keep the secret, It's got like, I don't know, David Arquette in it and some other person. I
like it.
Yeah.
Sell it as something. Yeah.
Exactly. And sneak up on you. So usually we stop at this point, but there's only one thing in theaters, and it's an easy transition. It's another Blumhouse film. It's I thought it was third. It's actually the 4th installment of Insidious. The Last Key is out.
I didn't even watch
this weekend.
Trailer, full disclosure.
Okay. Did you see any of them?
Stupid.
Did you see any of the movies? Okay. This one's out January 5th, Friday of 2018. This, so what I can gather, I saw the first one. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of movies that were like it that came out in like 2010.
Yeah.
There's one with Ethan Hawke that I thought was Insidious, but it's something else. And someone's going to like probably be yelling right now because I can't think of it. But it looks like there was a parapsychologist, Dr. Elise Rainier. She's a character in all of them. She's played by Lynn Shay, that I best know as the... a
parapsychologist?
Yeah. What'd I say?
That? No, I know. What is that?
Oh, I guess like a psychologist for paranormal creatures. She plays the landlord.
Wow, she didn't make her own career after college. What the fuck? Quick, go on.
I mean, it's just a character in a movie. Her career choices may be as dumb as this movie, but they keep making money. There's fucking 4 of them, and it's opening all alone, pretty much unopposed. Yeah. But yeah, the lady, the actress Lynn Shay, I know her as like the landlord in Kingpin.
Okay.
Do you remember the amazing sequence where Woody Harrelson pretends to save her purse? Yes. And every time I see her face, I don't want to see any of the Insidious movies. I just want to watch Kingpin again. Yeah. But again, like, this movie was made for $10 million. It's got like a character, an actress leading the way, and it's probably going to make a shitload of money. Probably. Because a lot of people, casual film fans, just like, it's like the first date option. You want to see something funny, maybe romantic or scary. If there's a scary movie out there, people are just going to pick random scary movie a lot of times. And
because nothing makes people want to fuck more than being scared to death.
Or being bored to death. Yeah.
Win-win.
Full disclosure.
Oh my God. Conspiracy theory, right? Coming at you.
Go ahead.
What is it, Blumhouse?
Yeah.
Sells condoms. Find out who sells condoms.
Why would they sell condoms? No, they need these people to reproduce and make more horror movie fans with low standards.
You're right. New conspiracy theory. Lobbying against condoms. follow the money. Blumhouse is somehow attached to something. Diapers. Those Monsters Inc. machines that capture screams. They're building something.
They're doing something with their money. You are a big fan of your jokes right now, and I'm loving it.
Sorry, that's just the picture of that machine and it's making me laugh.
Anyways, before we go on and take our break for our next segment, I was reading an article about the 25 worst films to ever be nominated for a Golden Globe. Because, like, that, what's the fucking Greatest Show is nominated, and a lot of people really like that movie.
Okay.
That's the P.T. Barnum one, right? The Showman.
Is it? I think it's called The Showman.
Showman, The Greatest Showman.
Yeah,
we're a movie
like
podcast. We should know about this. Anyways,
no, fuck that movie. I don't need to know about it.
I was scrolling through, and motherfucking Crocodile Dundee was nominated for a Golden Globe Best
The Greatest Showman. You were right.
Yeah, Greatest Showman. But Best Picture, Best Comedy Picture or Musical. Motherfucking Crocodile Dundee was nominated for a Golden Globe Best Picture award.
Deserved it.
Yeah, it changed our culture forever. Like, that can't be argued. Anyways,
it gave something for Americans to say to Australians for the rest of time.
It did. It helped.
Shrimp on the Barbie. Oh,
it helps foreign relations. Yeah. All right, we'll be right back.
Think you know today's food prices? Try and guess the cost of this dinner. 3 pieces of batter-dipped chicken, fried crisp and golden, fluffy whipped potatoes, tender sweet vegetables, and apple cake cobbler for dessert. What's your guess? About $2? $2.50? Wrong. It's about 85 cents, and it's a Swanson fried chicken dinner. That's some value. Swanson can change your ideas about today's high food prices.
So, I'm terrible at segues, but it's cold as shit outside. So most people these days like to watch things from the comfort of their home.
Ooh,
yeah.
Opposed to usually you watch your movies outside. Is that what you're saying?
I'll get to that later, fuckhead. But there are popular streaming services, and the interfaces for them are very confusing. So people don't know what to watch. We give recommendations every week. I didn't ask you to give recommendations, so I kind of told you what I thought looked interesting, and I want you to comment on them. So we might have some negative opinions.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah, unless you got something.
Well, or to recommend to watch on streaming, don't watch Bright. It sucks, and if you keep watching it just because you're curious, they'll think it was successful. So, sorry.
That's a good point. That's a great PSA. And we're going to start with Netflix. On January 5th, a BBC series is coming to Netflix called The End of the Fucking World. Do you watch a trailer for this?
No, I didn't watch. I stopped here.
Okay.
Sorry, I was busy.
So it's about... Oh, okay. It's about a guy... Tell me if it sounds interesting to you then, and then you can watch a trailer.
All right.
James is 17. He's pretty sure he's a psychopath. Alyssa, also 17, is cool and moody, new girl at school. That's what they said. I'm just reading the synopsis. The trailer looks better than this. They make a connection, and she persuades him to embark on a road trip in search of her real father. What the trailer shows is this kid is pretty sure he is a serial killer type, and he wants to befriend someone to murder them, the girl they mentioned, the cool and moody girl.
Yeah.
And it looks like they end up striking a connection and kind of go on a rampage while she's in search for her father. It reminds me of that Bobcat Goldthwait movie.
God, it's where the guy has cancer and he kidnaps the girl. It's
God Bless America.
God Bless America. Yeah, so, I knew it had something to do with America.
It reminds me of God Bless America, but this is a series and it's also British. Okay. So, oi, we're going to kill people.
I'm not familiar with too many English murderers, so but I imagine they go oi if they slap their thighs.
You would be
right.
Chris would defend them, the serial killers, if he only knew them.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Just you want to defend them, blindly.
No, I don't defend serial. I've only ever defended Ed Gein a handful of times.
That one's gonna be up January 5th. Next up is the film most likely to be recommended by your vegan girlfriend. The series,
was this recommended by your vegan girlfriend?
Not yet, but we watched a lot of food documentaries in our time. This documentary series is called Rotten. It dives deep into the food production underworld to expose the corruption, waste, and real dangers behind your everyday eating habits.
Bold stance.
Yeah, so you could be that guy that like brings in kale for a week at lunch and just and judges everybody.
No thanks.
Yeah.
No shit, dude. We all know food comes from a horrible, horrible place.
Buttholes.
Yes.
The whole process is disgusting when you think about it.
Yeah.
People's mouths are disgusting.
Everything's
People's
disgusting.
buttholes are disgusting.
You think take off all the skin? We're just one long worm. You just eat something, goes through your intestines, comes out the other end.
Has anyone
Gross.
tried that?
What?
Is that what Ed Gein was?
You can't live without the rest of the organs. First of all, Ed Gein only killed 2 people.
Could you connect those organs to our worm innards?
Yeah. Oh, bro, got an idea for a movie.
A horror movie.
Scientists sew some people
No,
together.
yeah, no. Well, scientist, yeah. He don't spit your stuff out. He like this is gonna get a spit take. Scientist kidnaps librarians, cuts them out,
Okay.
attaches their organ to the body. What do you think he calls it? Bookworm.
Arguably a better title.
He
than-
researches at the library, kidnaps them. He just picks up people's
great
library
point,
cards because no one cares. So you can never trace this guy, you know?
can't,
How
dude.
easy is it to get a library card? It will be a lot
right.
more difficult when
Secondly-
Bookworm scares the country into fingerprinting and photo identification on all library cards.
It's true. And I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but I got an idea for a sequel. They're in a library. They're watching Bookworm 1 in the library.
Yeah.
Some guy gets an idea. Etc.
Detective Dewey Decimal. All right, we're done. This is just only going to get worse. Final Netflix recommendation in our theme that seems to be bad-looking horror movies is the 2016 film Before I Wake, about a young couple who adopts an orphan child. I mean, all horror movies are
kidding me?
anti-orphans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just never adopt an orphan. It's going to kill you.
Yeah. So they kidnap this kid, and dreams like physically manifest. They adopted a kid because their child died. They had a young child that died, and like the first time he goes to sleep, their young child appears like in their living room in the trailer, and then disappears, and the kid shows up. So they're probably like, "Oh, we're gonna keep this weird fucker because
Send it.
we can tap."
Bury it. Get rid of it.
Yeah. Interesting about this trailer, Thomas Jane. He's got a very long mane.
Really?
And, yeah, like he's got some long ass hair. I didn't even recognize him. So, if this movie's popular, maybe Jane Mane would be like a hashtag. I swear I'm not on drugs. And also Kate Bosworth, who's like, probably thought she had a great future ahead of her, and she's just going to be doing these kind of movies, if anything. She's now mom status.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was.
Wait,
she was,
what? That name sounds familiar. What would I know?
Kate
her in?
Bosworth.
Yeah.
She kind of got started in the slasher thing. She was Lois Lane in those Superman movies before.
Oh, okay.
In Superman
all
Returns.
right.
She's in 21. Blue Crush is probably her most famous movie. She played the lead surfer girl.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
The other guys watched Blue Crush, but I am familiar with the movie cover.
Okay, moving on. On Amazon Prime, not a lot of new stuff, so I decided to highlight some older movies.
I
thought were
actually
interesting.
have an Amazon Prime account that I forgot to cancel, so maybe I'll watch some of this.
Keep it for another week and dispute those charges because you got some things to watch.
Look, I just wanted to get 2 Rubik's Cubes delivered to my house next day, so I signed up for a trial.
I don't need to hear about your sex life. The Devil's Double. I think this would interest you. It's a 2011 film that I dismissed when I was working at a video store because the cover is just all gold. It looks very strange.
Okay. Yeah, this is the movie about the Saddam's double, I think, right?
It's a chilling vision of the house Saddam Hussein
Yes.
comes to life through the eyes of the man who is forced to become the double of Hussein's sadistic son.
Oh, of his son.
Yeah,
Okay,
so there was Uday, and there was, what was his other son? Anyways,
I don't know. I
Saddam Hussein.
stopped talking to the Husseins years ago.
Yeah, me too.
We broke our
Man.
ties.
That relationship got tired for me as well.
They got in some trouble.
But there's a scene in the trailer where like Saddam says, this guy's become like my third son, and it's all about like these guys are like the princes of this awful empire and all the crazy shit they do. So it looks really good. It's a film that I just kind of missed.
Yeah, I've seen it. Excuse me, I've seen it for years. What? It came out 2011, so it's been out for a while.
So if you've missed it like me, check out the trailer. It's also on Hulu. this month as well.
Oh, okay.
So if you
Well, I
have
might
that,
watch it on there.
there you go. So yeah, go ahead, cancel your
Oh
Amazon
no!
Prime.
I actually I signed out of my Hulu to try to remember what my email was, so I could sign on my laptop. Dude, I haven't paid for Hulu for 3 months, yet I've had it on my Xbox. And then I went to go find out what account it was linked to. Every email I signed in under, it said, start a free trial. Like, I just randomly had, like, a ghost Hulu for the last 2 months.
You know, we call that living like kings.
Well, I'm pissed. I signed out now. It's gone. It's all gone.
Well, yeah, that was a dumb
I
idea.
did. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Up next on Amazon Prime, that's what we're still on, is a 2005 film, Hustle and Flow. Have you seen this?
Dude, have I? It's hard out here for a pimp.
All right,
Dude,
my man.
The movie's
Yeah.
good.
One of my favorite
That song is good.
One of my favorite Oscar moments was when 3 6 Mafia won an Oscar for that song, and then Jon Stewart was like, I think he was like shitting on Scorsese. He's like 3 6 Mafia 1, Martin Scorsese 0. Also, Jon Stewart hosted the Oscars, so that was a great time.
That's a good song, dude. Listen to that song.
Good soundtrack,
It's a really good song.
Great movie, like great underdog story. Comes off really genuine. Directed by Craig Brewer, who also did Black Snake Moan.
Yeah.
And then he did like a few episodes of TV. He did the show with Terrence Howard. Fuck, I should know what it is.
Terrence Howard. That's my war machine. Fuck Don Cheadle. Hashtag not my war machine.
I agree. So yeah, he did a few episodes of Empire most recently, but I like Black Snake Moan a lot too. And Craig Brewer, he did the Footloose remake in 2011, and I guess got blacklisted. Like, he hasn't done shit since. But I mean, there's a great start. I love Hustle and Flow. It was my favorite movie that year.
It is. It's a good movie.
It's about a Memphis pimp going through a midlife crisis, attempts to become a successful rapper and hip hop MC. I don't know what made me sound more white. The description.
Both.
When I said, yeah, double white. Give me double vanilla on that cone. But yeah, man, Terrence Howard, like, this is his breakout performance. I thought he was going to be on to great things after that. He got, shit canned from fucking Iron Man for some reason.
Yeah.
Got Don Cheadled. But this is just great, man. And it's a movie that could easily come off as inauthentic or as, like, exploitative. But it just works, man. It's
what
a
do you
fun
mean?
movie.
Like,
it doesn't make fun of its characters.
No.
It celebrates them. It makes them look real.
Yeah. It is. It's a good movie. Ludacris is in it.
Ludacris is great in it.
I know.
And
the scrawny white guy from... He's been in a bunch of
DJ
shit.
Qualls.
Yeah,
DJ Qualls is great in it. Tara Manning's great in it. Taraji P. Henson. Like, some people have gone on to bigger and better things. Anthony Anderson. So it's got a great cast. And
Anthony Anderson is there. He's the music guy, or he's the producer.
It's a fun movie with a great soundtrack. And I say fun. I mean, it's dark. It's a drama, but yeah, like, it's uplifting in the same way. Mm-hmm. It's a great movie. Something I think has sadly been forgotten. So check that out. Just trust me on that one.
Agreed.
Finally, I don't know where you stand on this one. Zodiac, the 2007 David Fincher film.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen it.
I really liked it, man. I thought the mood of, like, the killings and the communication between the Zodiac killer and the cartoonist in the San Francisco Chronicle, I believe it was, that helps the detective track down the Zodiac was interesting. It stars Jake Gyllenhaal as Robert Graysmith. He's the author of the Zodiac book, and the aforementioned cartoonist who he becomes attached to the story. Mark Ruffalo plays a detective, along with Anthony Edwards plays another detective, and Robert Downey Jr. plays Paul Avery, who also works at the San Francisco Chronicle. And this takes place in, like, the late 60s, early 70s. And like I said, it's interesting to see Jake Gyllenhaal's obsession, because he's a cartoonist and he becomes, like, an amateur detective and eventually writes, like, the most celebrated and recognized book about this serial killer. Yeah. And I liked it, man. I thought the way they shot the killings was, like, really gruesome, and the way they displayed the Zodiac. I know they said that they didn't, like, I think, I don't know, they do. They have the casting. They have the Zodiac played by, like, 4 different people, and it's no one famous because they didn't want to glorify. So I thought it was pretty thoughtful. They want to glorify serial killers because not everyone, like you, like, loves serial killers. So it's a 2.5 hour movie.
There's some interesting stuff with the real Zodiac you should look up. If it was even one person, it's probably a couple of people.
Could be some copycats in there.
Yeah,
and they reference
it's
that.
probably just a crazy, stupid person.
Yeah.
Because like it's just like this weird cryptic thing. Like it took him years to like break the code on the letters and figure out what it meant, and then most of it was just like nonsense. And the rest of they've never even figured out the rest of the stuff, even to this day.
So it could be nonsense. Could be random.
Yeah, it could just be nothing. Could be crazy. But my favorite is that it's Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber.
Yeah.
Because he was like a mathematician, like prodigy, like really fucking smart, and like maybe he came up with some wild ass cryptic fucking key that nobody can come up like
And then
nobody can break. And yeah,
And then he redid his persona.
yeah.
That's interesting. I've never heard that one. I thought it was Ted Cruz's father, according to our commander in chief.
According to the meme, the memosphere.
But yeah, this is really good. I'm a huge David Fincher fan. I think his films always look amazing, have interesting camera work, and like it really gets.
I didn't know he did that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it really gets the tone down, and it's got some of the best actors you could ever ask for in a horror movie or serial killer movie. So I'm a big fan of all three of the leads. Even Mark Ruffalo doesn't get enough credit when people need him to act. He's really fucking good.
Yeah, man, he is really good. I've liked him in pretty much everything.
Yeah. Hulu, I couldn't find anything, man. I don't have Hulu, so maybe I'll leave a segment up to you.
There's
Matt.
nothing
you guys
on there.
Both have
I
Hulu.
don't know.
They just have a big movie dump, some TV series coming out this week that I don't know anything about.
I originally got it because I was watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but I finished it off, and now it's the fact that it comes out, like, I don't know when it comes out, every week, every 2 weeks, but it's back on just whatever its programming schedule is, so I don't care. Like, I'd rather it build up and then binge it again. But other than that, it's just like most of the movies you can find anywhere else. It seems like they're also connected to like HBO. They have this weird thing where they're like linked to HBO Go.
They like doing HBO like partnership because Hulu is NBC, but I mean,
I don't give a shit because I have HBO. So
everything's going to be 5 companies now. I mean,
it already is.
I saw. Did you see it?
Bloomberg? Is that it? Bloomhouse?
Bloomhouse, yeah. Netflix.
Bloomhouse? Bloomberg? Coincidence?
No, I mean blooms. You gotta look out for those blooms. Netflix might be bought by Apple, is a rumor, and then Amazon might buy Target.
Netflix better not sell out, dude.
Yeah.
Their last bastion of like they're kind of okay.
It sounds
like,
weird to say this, but we need more shitty corporations.
Yeah.
Because they're less powerful and less evil if there's more of them. You don't want them to combine forces. You don't want the Voltron. You just want the leg of the Voltron hopping around all by itself within her body.
With that analogy, I think you're going for the other side.
Hold on. Netflix just called me and they say Voltron leg will be a series. I just got 8 episodes greenlit.
No, you want the entire Voltron. But we're not talking about robots defending the Earth. We're talking about massive corporations monopolizing an industry.
Full disclosure, I've never seen an episode of Voltron. I'm not sure if it's a movie or TV show.
It's a fucking cartoon.
I know it's a robot guy. I don't know anything about it. But I know it's like pieced together by other robots.
Yeah.
Right? Like
I'm
the
glad
little
you
people
put that together.
I think little people like drive cars and they like connect the cars and the planes together.
Micro machines.
What?
I'm just naming toys now.
What I'm trying to say is I didn't get a lot of toys.
That's fair.
Yeah, I got one Ghostbuster. It was Winston, and my brother burnt his ass on top of a light bulb.
Frank over here playing Outside Man with his friends.
Yeah. I had a great stick until dog took it away. Anyways, HBO Go has a couple interesting choices. In the Valley.
Is Game of Thrones back yet?
No, go away. In the Valley of Violence is a 2016 film that's out now on HBO Go. If I didn't mention, on Amazon Prime, by the time you're hearing this, all those films are out. Same for these on HBO Go. In the Valley of Violence is directed by Ty West, and that's what made it seem interesting to me. The trailer, I'm going to be honest, looks kind of awful. John Travolta plays a marshal, and his character's name is just Marshall. I don't know.
The fuck is that?
There's a cat dying outside. Let's pick it up. We'll try to talk over it. Which is going to be very difficult. Shit.
It's all right. It's all right.
So yeah, John Travolta plays a marshal. I just don't think he has any place. Him and his
whose name is Marshall?
Yeah, it just says Marshall.
That's fucking dumb.
Yeah. But
So anyway,
it's directed by
I'm
this
Chris Podcast. Welcome to... That's good. Go on.
Catcast. Directed by a guy, Ty West, and I liked his movies. He participated on VHS, the first one. He did House of the Devil, which I think is a really cool movie about a haunted house. He did The Innkeepers, which is about a haunted hotel. Yeah. And he did Scary Car, which is about a haunted car. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, you sold me. I was into it.
I just saw a theme. No, he did The Sacrament, which is about like a religious cult. Those horror movies were really interesting. I liked them a lot. And then he decided to do a Western starring Ethan Hawke, going up against John Travolta. And I'm thinking, like, what the fuck? Is this like part of the last Scientology fucking application? You have to do this? You have to watch a trailer, man. It looks so bad.
It looks
like,
stupid.
Ethan Hawke, great actor. Not a badass. So, like, I don't know who's more miscast. Ethan Hawke as the rebel. I think he was one of the Magnificent Seven in the new one. But he wasn't a lead. And he's not a badass. And John Travolta's not a fucking marshal because people didn't have like plastic surgery on their faces or like act like John Travolta back in the Wild West. It's just weird. It's also got my girl Karen Gillan, who's plays Nebula.
Yeah,
in Guardians of the Galaxy.
I think Doctor Who before I think.
Yeah, I know. Apparently, I'm missing out on all this great work by her because I haven't seen any of the Doctor Who. So there's that one. There's also 500 Days of Summer.
Okay.
Have you seen this movie?
Yeah, it's been a while. I haven't seen it in a few years.
Yes,
I've had a girlfriend before, Frank. I've seen this movie.
Oh, I watched it without a girlfriend. So this used to be my comfort movie when I had my breakup comfort movie. You know, going inside the heart and mind of your podcast host.
I watched Hellraiser. That's good.
Not surprising. If any movie could get you to hate Zooey Deschanel, probably unfairly, it would be this movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, the movie sets you up. It tells you like it's not a love story, so you know that right away.
Yeah.
But I'm not always a huge fan of narration, but it works in this.
It
like,
does.
The way it's
because it's the way
described.
it's written. Yeah.
I'm a huge Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan.
Me
JGL is bae. I love him. I think he's a great actor. They were just a great pairing. So awesome chemistry. I'm not like typically a romantic comedy fan because they exist in like a fairyland. They're
just like horror movies now.
They're insulting to like your senses and just to the audience typically.
Yeah. It tricks stupid people into thinking this is what relationships are supposed to be like.
Yeah, and I thought this is a realistic portrayal. I think a lot of guys have been in this situation, and even though all the warning signs are there, you push the envelope because I feel like his character. It's like I either have to go for it all. I just can't be her friend. And there's some really cool stuff they did. I'm thinking of the scene where it's like kind of the sliding doors thing, where it's his expectations of what the party's going to go like when he revisits her. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm talking about versus what really happens. It's so like fucking heartbreaking.
It is.
It's a great scene. Probably my favorite scene that year. Just didn't have a podcast to tell everybody to watch it. Chloe Grace Moretz, Hit Girl, plays his sister, plays Joseph Gordon-Levitt's sister, who's like wise beyond her years and more emotionally mature than Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character. I thought that was really great. But man, I think it's a really good movie.
It is a good movie.
I know a lot of people that are not your typical like romantic comedy fans that like 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, because it's a different take on it.
Yeah. Finally, I'm not going to talk about each one of them, but all the Harry Potter movies
Let's
are
start
on
from the beginning.
HBO Go. Yeah, the Sorcerer's Stone or something, right?
Well, or the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Chambers. Anyways.
Do not insult me.
Yeah, Freeform.
You seem to be surprised that I was a Harry Potter fan when I told you.
I'm not. I might even watch these for the podcast. I don't know if there's a point.
Get me on the Harry Potter episode if you do it, dog.
Well, there was Mugglecast, which is like one of the biggest podcasts out there.
That makes sense.
I think it kind of died down as the movies stopped being made, as we ran out of Harry Potter movies. But, Freeform lost their rights, so a certain friend's basement, you just 20% chance you'd walk in on a Harry Potter marathon. True or false? Yeah. It was always playing. And I went on vacation with these people, and guess what they wanted to watch? Harry Potter marathon. So I've watched 30 minutes of probably 5 of the 8 Harry Potter movies, like just chunks of it. It's just a weird way to experience anything. Yeah. But it's there if you want it.
I was hooking up with a Towson girl when the 7th one came out. on DVD, and I didn't see it in theaters. I just wanted to watch it, okay? And every time I went over her house, I just wanted to watch this fucking movie. It took me like a month to watch this entire movie. So sad.
Because you guys just started, like, you know, working on Blue Apron or something, right?
Yeah.
Your mother could be listening.
She's not.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is our podcast co-host definitely fucks. Anyway.
No, I just wanted to watch this fucking movie. I watched it all the way through. Couldn't watch it without masturbating. It was weird. I don't know why. No, I was kidding. But they're incredible. I watch every Harry Potter movie.
I think you're
They're
making
awesome.
excuses. You kept visiting this girl for a reason. It's not like copies of Harry Potter were difficult to find.
No, but I really just wanted to watch. Swear to God, I just want to watch this movie right now. That's not the reason, but yeah. But anyway,
it's kind of like how we keep trying to record episodes of this podcast, but you know, it's like the 7th time you've been over this week.
Fuck you. You're taking advantage of me.
Anyways, also available on HBO Go is the Back to the Future trilogy, which consists of one good movie. That movie copied the second time very shittily, and a terrible Western, which if you look real carefully, someone flashes their dick in a crowd scene. Google it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, just watch the first one.
Yeah, only watch the one.
Yeah, reasons that people hate me. I think Gremlins is shit.
You're such a Hufflepuff. Am I right? Bitch about movies fans, is Frank a Hufflepuff or what?
Not sure if it's Pokemon or a Harry Potter character.
I'm a Ravenclaw, Frank.
That's definitely a donut.
Above all.
That's definitely a donut. Anyways, those are your options for streaming. And you have anything else dumb to say before I hit the pause button?
No. I'm sure I'll think of something though.
Okay.
Looking good is so important these days. So when I want a little exercise, I go to Blockbuster Video.
Cindy Crawford's Blockbuster Workout.
First open the door. I suggest at least 3 reps. Then I always take a few laps around the store. Ooh, this looks good. Did you know you can burn calories just picking out videos at Blockbuster? Now that's what I call a workout.
Blockbuster Video. Bring the good times home.
It's times like this that I'm reminded I should name these segments. I don't know. I was thinking, like, what did I just see? What did I watch? And then you, like, find a clip from a movie where someone's like, what did I just see? And then you put that in there. Yeah, I could. I don't know. I'm already late enough with this
Are you married
episode.
to that name, though?
No. Hold on to your butts. No, that doesn't work either. We'll figure it out eventually in a couple years. But this is where we talk about what we've been watching, what we've seen. And I'll let you go first because you said you saw Justice League. So
I watched it literally today. It's fresh in my mind.
Okay.
All right. On a scale of 1 to 10.
How many minutes did it take you to walk out of the theater?
No, I didn't watch it. I just watched it at my house. I don't know. My buddy Renard, huge fan of DC Universe series. He's one of the few people that like really like almost changed my mind about Batman versus Superman because I thought that movie was horrendous, and he kind of gave me a nice new perspective on it. Maybe like a little bit better. So I'd like to talk to him and see how he feels about it, but I thought it was horrible. It just, I don't like these movies. I don't like any of the DC, I don't like the DC universe as a nerd, period. I don't like Superman. What is fun about a hero that can just do whatever and just always win? There's no like, I don't like Ben Affleck. I like Jason Momoa. That's his name, right?
He is hot, yeah.
Yeah, he's cool, but his character's stupid. The dialogue is dumb. And I'm not saying the Avengers, if we're going to battle for the other side, is any better. Those movies are dumb, too. I'm just done with superhero movies, period. And this is just not... I don't know. I don't personally like it. If you're a fan of the universe, it's cool to see those characters doing things. But I feel like... even those fans will be upset because those characters aren't portrayed very well.
Yeah,
like,
I thought
they're
the
not portrayed
movie
good.
was poorly made. We talked about it already on the podcast. But
And I mean, people like I hated Wonder Woman too. A lot of people like that movie too. I thought it was corny as shit. I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me.
No one is more into like what's going on than Gal Gadot playing Wonder Woman though. Like she brings energy to the role.
Oh yeah,
in
she is a great cast for Wonder Woman. I just think the movie is corny.
She seems like she's really fucking into it. I feel like she was probably like opening up the studio.
I know.
Like,
I'm pissed.
yeah.
I want it to be a good Wonder Woman.
She's
movie.
the first person there, last person to leave. Like, yeah, like she's really good in it. And I thought the kid that played Flash, I like him a lot. He was in Perks of Being a Wallflower and some other stuff.
That was a lot of complaints. A lot of people hated him as
he
Flash.
seemed like he wanted to be there too, but no one else. Ben Affleck did not want to be there at all.
No, he doesn't want to be alive.
He
I
looks
feel
so
like.
disinterested. Yeah, so yeah, same. I mean, you didn't have a different opinion. Matt kind of liked it. I thought it was like put together weird. Like I described it as every scene felt like I just walked into the movie theater like mid movie. Like it didn't connect.
Exactly, it didn't connect. Like there's at the I get what they're trying to do. Like even at the end, they're like, "Oh, we're all working together. We finally came together."
Well, yeah,
like,
that's what's going to happen.
Shit.
Yeah.
Like you're not even like all of a sudden you're friends. 10 minutes ago you hated each other, but you didn't. It's just bad. It was just bad. I didn't like it.
Bad movie, going to bad. I saw Molly's Game, which is not really a poker movie. It's a true story biography, adapted book. The adapted book written by Molly Bloom. You know, the character, the title.
I like this cover. That's pretty cool looking.
The title character. It's written and directed by Aaron Sorkin. His his directorial debut. Someone your brother loves.
Wait, is his directorial debut?
Yep.
I thought he... Wait, no, he was just a writer usually, right? Yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, he loves his dialogue, and I could be wrong. Yeah, it's his directorial debut.
Yeah, my brother does love him. He's fucking in love with The Social Network. He thinks it's like one of the best movies ever.
Well, your brother's in love with him. A lot of people are. Aaron Sorkin also in love with his dialogue.
Yeah.
Maybe a little too much so in this movie. Also in love with this character. Molly Bloom is a true story of an Olympic-class skier who ran the world's most exclusive high-end poker games.
Nice.
And became a target of the FBI. So,
damn.
Yeah. It should have been more interesting. Like, it was well put together. There's one scene, and anyone who's watching or seen this movie knows what I'm talking about. It's a scene between Jessica Chastain, who plays Molly, and Kevin Costner, who plays her father, like where they're sitting on the bench outside the skate rink. It's so fucking out of place. So that was an issue. But it's one of those movies, like, as you're in it, you're like, okay, it's well acted, it's well put together. Yeah. It's going on a little long. It's 2.5 hours. I don't think it needs to be that long. And, long. You know, for context, like,
it sounds like a cool story.
I don't usually complain about the length of the movie. I'm not that kind of person. But, yeah, it does sound like a cool story. And that's my other problem.
I want to look into it.
It should be like a Scorsese type, Wolf of Wall Street type story. And it's really not. It doesn't really dive into the interesting parts. Like, the character talks about how she has a hard drive full of all this like information that could ruin people, but she doesn't want to give it up for fame, fortune, or even to be given you immunity. Yeah, I had the word and lost it. Immunity from the FBI because she doesn't want to ruin families and all this stuff. Yeah. But like, why even tell us that? Why tell us there's more interesting stories than the one you're telling us about the person? Also, a lot of like I said, dialogue and a lot of voiceover, which is like, I mean, Aaron Sorkin loves the dialogue so much. Yeah, she's talking over top of her own dialogue. It's like dialogue on top of dialogue. So
I can't think of the last time a voiceover has been good in a modern movie.
Well, we were just talking about voiceovers. Yeah.
Like it's got to work.
Yeah, I mean, we liked it in 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah. There's got to be
but that was a narrator, which is different. Like, she's narrating her own movie. Idris Elba is pretty good in it, too. He's not stretched too far. Michael Cera plays Player X, which is like the unnamed celebrity that kind of helps her along the way.
Yeah. And
to become who she is. Like I said, it's a reminder that Jessica Chastain is a badass. Like, she's a great actress. It felt like, Oscar bait, we hate to use the term, but it comes up.
This is in theaters right now?
It's in theaters right now. And the reason I saw it is because there's like nothing interesting. It's like, do you want to see The Greatest Showman? Or I already saw Jumanji. Like, I bit that bullet. There's not a lot right now. So
wasted
I was like,
birthday. You only get so many, and you wasted one of them.
I had good pizza. So whatever, man. Good point. I watched Star Wars the past 2 years, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I thought it was a little too long.
Star Wars, where Obi Kenobi dies. Spoiler.
Fuck off. Anyways, yeah, Molly's Game is good, not great. I saw it on a lot of people's top 10 list, and I was like waiting for their defense, and I thought their defenses were pretty weak. Like, yeah, it's well acted. I think she got nominated for some Golden Globes, or for a Golden Globe. But yeah, man, it's just like a one and done. So would I recommend it? Not really. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I don't ever want to see it again, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What's a Golden Globe anyway?
It's
the alley Oscars, if you ask me.
Well,
right?
It's weird, right? It's like 90 random foreign press people that I think no one knows who they are vote on these things. It's an excuse for celebrities to get drunk and make fun of each other.
God, to be rich, right?
Yeah, right.
It must be great.
I'm excited to hear about Disaster Artist. Another movie we already talked about, but I want to get your opinion on it.
Oh, all right. My opinion. Yeah, I watched it 2 nights ago or something like that. I think so. Yeah, Thursday. Yeah.
That's important to a listener. They were wondering,
Wednesday or
did
Thursday.
you watch it Wednesday?
Was it Wednesday or Thursday?
Did
All
you
right.
watch it Thursday?
I took a shower. And then
Whoa, shower brag.
No, but
We get it.
I liked it. I really liked it. It was fucking awesome, actually.
Yeah.
I was talking to my friend Jason about it today. You don't have to have seen The Room to watch it either. I think if you've been on the internet, you at least know something about Tommy Wiseau. Like, you have to.
I think it works, and Paul Scheer said this. It could be a prequel or a sequel to The Room. You can watch them in either order, but
Yeah.
you can't watch one and not want to watch the other.
Agreed. I kind of wanted to rewatch The Room after I did it because it had been a while. We were talking about it, like a month ago when it came out or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. It really is. Like, my buddy was like, I've never seen The Room. And I was like, dude, you don't have to. Just watch this movie because you've been on the internet enough to know a bit of like the ethos of this story, this character. You've seen things from it. Like, you know enough about it to enjoy this movie. It's just good. Like, it's well written. The acting is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's a
I'm not
labor.
a James Franco fan either, but he kills it, dude. He really does.
People are coming around on Franco because of this. It's a labor of love, and that's something I've been saying all year in the podcast. It's why I love the movies I love. Like, you can tell the person that made this movie, James Franco, like, has an affection for Tommy Wiseau, and he said in his interviews, like, he sees that they're not that different. Like, they both really like James Dean, and like he was a role model to them. They came to Hollywood with these dreams, and that's what they pulled out of the book.
And I like that him and his brother get to act together. I also see that, like, I can picture that being kind of cool. Like, both getting to be main characters, like, acting with each other. Like, when they're, like, fighting in, like, the grass. I was like, I thought about it immediately. I was like, the thought came to my head is, like, me and my brother, like, fucking wrestle each other or something. Like, but getting to do it for a movie, like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm always partial to brother stories, being a brother myself, so I feel you on that one. But yeah, just a great movie, man. It's one of my favorites this year, and I just think it's something special. And it's one of those movies you want to get everyone to watch. Like, I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
You go see this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. When we talked about it originally, I remember watching the trailer. I think we did it on here when I did the first episode.
Probably.
And we were like, this looks fucking stupid. Because I think it was also with that 9/11 movie was also a trailer. Which we gotta fucking get back on that. See what happened with that.
We do.
But yeah, it's incredible. I really liked it. I recommend that highly. I think it's worth a watch. It's funny. It's like, it's a good look at how, like, because the dude wrote a book. What's his name? Greg.
Greg,
right?
Greg wrote a book, and
which is called The Disaster Artist, I think, right?
it was renamed. I think it was like something in the room.
Yeah, but like you can tell this seems to be like that nice inside, like all the shooting shit, like how, and on top of it, it's just great. It makes you think, like, where the fuck did this dude get millions of dollars? Like, it makes your mind swirll.
Yeah, the mystery of Tommy Wiseau, the absurdness of The Room, and of Tommy Wiseau, and then like just the relatable story of like people that had a dream. If you ever wanted to create something, like, you relate to these guys.
Well, yeah, and that's what I love about it, because he's definitely like, I think he's Polish, right? Didn't they find out he's Polish?
I don't look at those things. I don't want to spoil the surprise.
The point is, he's definitely either from somewhere in Eastern Europe or
he's
around
from
the
New
area.
Orleans. The Big Easy.
Yeah, the bayou. He's like definitely from somewhere in Eastern Europe. So like he's got that mentality, like that, like, oh, American movie. They always said that shit. So like I'm thinking he was either big score criminal or undercover, like a witness protection wild person. Like,
I think he's an alien.
Millions of dollars.
It's a movie. It seems The Room seems like a movie about the human condition from someone who's not a human. Like an alien's observation of humanity. That's the best way to describe it.
That would explain how he got all the money.
Yeah.
Shit, maybe he's that one alien, the weird one. Fuck, what the hell is his name? Dude, were we talking about this?
Yes.
From last podcast? The fucking he's not one of the regular aliens that we always interact with.
No, let's not be ridiculous.
No, he's like a random species. I think he hitchhiked a ride with one of the Greys on Earth.
Most likely.
Yeah.
That sounds up.
Fuck, dude, he's that dude. Holy shit. There's gotta be a conspiracy theory about that. I gotta look that shit up.
Or his son. So, as Chris Googles that, I'll talk about Gerald's Game, one of the many Stephen King adaptations that came out. Do you know about this movie?
No, I have no idea.
Okay. It's So it might remind you of another Stephen King movie, Misery. It's about a couple who are going to a secluded house
A lot of
to
sexy imagery.
to get their relationship
you
kickstarted
told me
again.
about this. Okay, yeah. Okay.
So they go to this remote lake house. Jesse's played by Carla Gugino. And Gerald's played by Bruce Greenwood. Two faces. If you don't recognize the names, you'll recognize the faces.
Yeah.
Two pretty good actors. They go to this abandoned house, and I'm not going to tell you anything you don't see in the first 5 minutes of the movie or in the trailers, I believe. He handcuffs her up. They're going to do some kinky sex stuff. He dies.
Yeah.
He dies, and she's handcuffed.
Hot, dude.
And she can't escape. So if you like movies like this, think of I think it's called Breathe with Ryan Reynolds. Is one of them where Buried? Is it? I think it's called Buried with Ryan Reynolds. It's a very it's a one woman show. It could be claustrophobic for some people, but 90% of the movie takes place in this room and just her escaping. And they add to this by her hallucinating her dead husband, and he's mansplaining things and just being awful, criticizing asshole to her. And then she also hallucinates herself, like her best self. She's dressed up, she's all dolled up, and she's trying to give advice too. So it's kind of like the devil and angel on her shoulders trying to help her escape the scenario. There's also a dog that shows up, and there's some other things that show up, but it ends up being a war of attrition. Would that be what you'd say? She's gonna just starve, or
whoever kills the most. That's a war of attrition.
Yeah. What would you say? How would you describe it?
What?
She's battling time, I guess. She's going to either. You okay? Did you?
Yeah, I just bunched up the seat. I was like, there's a bump on my butt. Important information.
Yeah, important information for listener. But if this dog doesn't get her, she could starve to death or die of thirst.
Why is on this picture in Google Images?
Okay, yeah, don't mention that. Don't mention that. So that image, okay, that's a great image. It brings up a great point. So Gerald's Game, I thought was pretty thrilling. I thought Carla Gugino did a great job of carrying a movie, and I was trying to think of some more examples, but other characters have done this. Other actors have done this where it's just them.
Yeah.
At least with Tom Hanks, he's a beloved household name. He gets a whole island in Castaway.
Who's Tom Hanks?
Yeah, okay, good. Millennials. In Buried, Ryan Reynolds is underground for the whole movie. James Franco, the aforementioned James Franco, was in 127 Hours, where he's stuck in between two rocks.
Yeah, he wasn't that.
So that kind of movie, however you want to describe that kind of movie. Like I said, the work around that to make it more interesting was the hallucinations. So I thought it was really good when it stayed inside the room. I'm okay with how it started to resolve itself. And then there's a glimpse in there, because it's Stephen King. There's a little mysticism. There's a little out of this world nature to the story.
Yeah.
Then they do this thing, which I guess maybe it has to be explained better and more thoroughly in the book. But the last 15 minutes of the movie are a completely different movie. And it's that photo you were referencing. I don't understand why they brought it up. It just fucking ruins the movie. I want to timestamp it and just tell you to stop. Sorry. Chris is just Googling weird looking faces right now. But he's just stop the movie, man. It just takes a crazy turn and just explains this part of the story that did not need to be explained, and just becomes a totally different movie at the end.
Stephen King, but continue.
Yeah, it's an hour and 43-minute movie. It should stop at the hour and 30-minute mark. It's you made this cool thriller. Cough button.
Yeah.
About that's not how that works. You'll just say cough button
to breathe.
I got away from the mic. Anyways, you have this cool thriller where you just told the story in a room, a la Misery, and other cool things like that. And it's a hard thing to do, and she did a great job. And then you just add this stupid, I won't even want to call it a twist. It's a sidetrack. It's a distraction that didn't need to be there. I'm
it sounds
curious
like
what people
King.
think. Yeah, people really like this movie, and we say it all the time. Low bar for horror movies. I love horror movies too.
That's what makes advantage of shitty horror movies. Low bar.
But this is a well acted, well shot movie.
Yeah.
I like some of the camera work. They do a lot with the solar eclipse, and the way they shot it was really cool.
Nice.
Because a la Stephen King, she has some inner demons too, and there's a reason why she feels so helpless in this scenario and just in life. And the character is going to try to overcome that and come out a new person if she survives.
Yeah.
So I like how those, flashbacks were shot. It's just that last 15 minutes, man, it's so fucking unnecessary. And I want people to watch it just so we can have this conversation.
Yeah, or just turn it off when it gets to the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd rather you do more, like be on my side or just enjoy the movie in a pure way. The last one I have, I don't know if you had anything else you saw.
What? No, I mean TV. I've been watching People versus O.J. Simpson. Really
Loving
good.
it?
Yeah, I like it so far.
Got
Hooked me in the
Travolta,
first
right?
episode. Yeah. Dude's good. He's a great Robert Shapiro, even though he really doesn't look like too much like him. But like he's good. He's acting well. And David Schwimmer as Robert Kardashian, brilliant. I like David Schwimmer. He's awesome. I'm serious. Band of Brothers, dude. He's Sobel. Come on, like he gets shit on a lot. He's a good actor.
I didn't see Band of Brothers.
Are you fucking insane?
I know. I'm sorry. I did see something with Schwimmer that I liked.
Oh my god, I'm literally coming to your house tomorrow morning. I'll be dropping off. I have the ammo case version of Band of Brothers.
Whoa, DVD brag.
Yes. You will not move until you watch it. You fucking kidding me? It's one of the greatest dramas / war stories ever made.
My favorite David Schwimmer.
It's incredibly acted.
I know all about it.
Are you fucking kidding me
I
right
couldn't
now?
afford HBO back then. Get off my case.
Start it tonight. I'm not joking. I'm not leaving until I see you put that fucking show on.
I'm calling the cops. My favorite David Schwimmer performance is Breast Men. It's about come on, man. It's about two doctors who created breast implants, and it follows them over the years. It's based on a true story, I believe. It stars him and Chris Cooper. And
Are you being funny here?
no, it was a TV movie.
Docudrama.
Yeah. Exactly what I said. But I saw Shape of Water. Some people might be curious about our opinion on this movie.
I am.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, so.
It's another one of Guillermo del Toro's, like, it's this weird genre. It's like adult fairy tale because there's a lot of nudity in this movie.
Yeah, which I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm excited to watch it.
I was going to say, you sound excited. A lot of humor, too. The audience I watched it with, like, any kind of the awkward moments, they were laughing. Because they're immature, unlike me. And I really enjoyed it, man. I thought it was shot gorgeously. I'm not surprised. No. I read an article about how it was only made for like $20 million. Guillermo del Toro, almost said his first name. Like I'm on some kind of basis with him.
Guillermo. My boy.
Made a very interesting movie. Sally Hawkins plays kind of like an Amelie type character.
Okay.
You know the movie Amelie? Yeah. She's a mute, and she just lives, half in the real world, half in, like, just Wonderland. It's not, like, visualized in any way, but you can tell she just has, like, a very glass-half-full view of the world, and her neighbor is played by Richard Jenkins. You may best know him as, like, the father in Step Brothers. Yeah. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about? And Michael Shannon plays a detective. He's always playing the bad guy, and they're all fantastic in these roles. Octavia Spencer, you might recognize. I think she was in The Help. Let me not get this wrong. Yeah, she's in The Help. She's in Fruitvale Station and Hidden Figures. It's one of those characters actors. If you saw the face, you would know who I'm talking about. Yeah. She plays Sally Hawkins' character's work friend. As my voice is slowly
I can hear
getting
it.
lost.
We still got a whole nother second,
I know,
buddy.
man. I'm together. I'm fueled by chicken nuggets. I didn't even think I would get through this far of the podcast. But yeah, man, it's a really good movie. It works. Like stuff like this, I could see people being very cynical about. Like I said, it's told like an adult fairy tale. So yeah,
all these movies are now.
It's for the dreamers. It's for people that still have an imagination and haven't given away fully to cynicism. It takes place in 1960s Baltimore, which I didn't realize.
No shit, really?
Yeah,
nice.
So
I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there was a scene that got a big laugh in the theater because Michael Shannon's character's like talking to his wife because he just moved in. Because they work at this government-run facility. She's like talking about the neighborhood.
It's Aberdeen.
Yeah, and he's like, it probably was shot there. And he's like, saying, it's still Baltimore. No one likes Baltimore. So it shits on Baltimore. Yeah. And to just give you the rundown as I started babbling about this movie, it takes place in 1960s. Mm-hmm. It's a top-secret research facility. A lonely janitor forms a bond with this creature. And I've heard this is similar to what the creature from the Black Lagoon is. Have you ever seen that classic movie? So I'm interested in that now. Sally Hawkins plays Elisa Esposito.
It's more in a King Kong way. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, you're saying Creature from the Black Lagoon is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Beauty and the Beast scenario, which exists outside the Disney adaptations. That's my favorite part of King Kong, really, is I thought it was best done in like the 1930s version, was that how this lady is like so optimistic and such a dreamer that she can fall in love with a creature that, not even of her species. Creature looks fucking awesome. Sally Hawkins is very convincing, as is Michael Shannon and Richard Jenkins, and it just like toes the line, man. Like you could really, because it's in the 60s, it could have been misfire at any point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it could have been very corny.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Oh, easily. Anything like that could have been corny. But I like him as a filmmaker.
Yeah,
He's a good
but it
filmmaker.
works, yeah, because
did he write it too, or did
He did.
Okay.
And again, back to something I mentioned earlier. Like you can tell it's a passion project for him. Guillermo del Toro is a very romantic guy. He's a very optimistic guy, which would make sense why I like him.
So cool. He is really cool, dude. His house is a horror movie relic museum.
Yeah.
He listen to podcasts, so I'm sure you know.
Yeah, he's a huge
talking to Chris
nerd.
Hardwick about it all the time. Yeah. But yeah, he's awesome, dude. He does a lot of good stuff. Can't say I've disliked any movie he's ever made that I've watched.
Yeah, and I'll say it's a hard movie to discuss spoiler free because the story is not like too complicated, but yeah, it's this great visuals, well acted, great
I feel
story.
like there's not much you can talk about the story without giving anything away.
Yeah, and I recommend it. And I did what a lot of people have to do right now. I think it's going to be shortly wide release. I don't know. It's confusing, but I had to like go out of the way to like the art house theater, which is like 30 minutes away, and the parking sucks.
Where'd you go?
The Charles.
Nice.
Yeah. But it was
good theater,
yeah,
dude.
it was worth it though. It's definitely worth it to see this movie. So it's worth going out of your way. And I would recommend if you can to do that because of the way the film is shot, it's definitely made for the theatrical experience.
Yeah.
So I understand you might want to just wait to see it at home video, but I think it's worth like going outside, dealing with
and
theater.
go to the Charles. They need help. It's a fucking awesome place.
Yeah, the thing about going to those art house theaters is that the audiences are usually very mature. I'll tell you, we were probably...
I don't know, dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Every time I go
to
to
Charles every Wednesday for anime night.
That's different, though. Yeah.
And literally, it's always people super high, dressed up, just doing goofy shit.
Outside of that, the average age for the audience member is probably like 50 or 60.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. On your regular night, for sure, yeah.
Which is, it makes for an interesting experience itself. So, yeah, like in review, Molly's Game, okay, kind of one and done. Gerald's Game, just realized I watched two movies that were somebody's game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was really, really promising until the last 10 minutes. I've rarely watched movies that kind of just like blow up in your face at the end, but just like, please watch that movie so we can have this conversation.
All right.
And Shape of Water, like I highly recommend. It's up there for like best of the year, and in a weaker year, it'd probably be like could be like the best film. It's on par with Pan's Labyrinth, so check that out.
Correctly with the correct amount.
And now for our feature presentation.
I get my buddy Jason to make it too.
I hit record. So, if you're still with us, thanks for my, I think Chris is doing a good job, but my mumbling stream of
I don't
consciousness.
feel like I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. I'm just listening. And I feel bad because I know your voice is
That's
hurting.
what I meant by Chris is doing a good job.
Oh. All
Shots fired. No, it's good, man. Hopefully this makes sense to people because I'm pretty sick. We have a topic of the show, and this one was interesting. It's such a weird thing because I don't think anyone's demanding it right now.
Nobody's ever demanded it.
No. But Kevin Smith movies were important to my upbringing.
As were mine.
Yeah, that's good.
Does anybody know about him anymore? That's what I'm curious about.
They do. Yeah, no. In my old profession, I employed a lot of hipster people, hipster girls that are into Nirvana for some reason and smoke clothes. They like Kevin Smith movies. Yeah,
all right.
They do. So
I was about to say because he seems very generational to begin with. You know what I mean? Like I live on a bit of the older side because my brother's 10 years older than me. Everybody I know is 10 years older than me, except for my close friends, So, I kind of live
the guys you play Roblox with.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, okay. But continue, sorry.
So, Clerks, how did you discover Clerks? Through your brother?
You want to start with Clerks?
Yeah.
We go chronological.
Yeah.
There we go.
Jesus Christ. What a train wreck this is.
How did I discover Clerks?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely through my brother. Like, he watched it when did Clerks come out? 93, 94?
Yeah.
Or was it? Yeah.
94.
Yeah. So he was, I was a kid, like a little ass kid.
Probably not age appropriate for this at all.
No, I'm pretty sure I was like 4 years old.
This explains a lot.
Yeah. So,
A lot of people had Superman. You had Randall.
Yeah. Randall, personal hero of mine, if that doesn't...
Let me tell you. So, yeah, I was thinking, like, so you're the younger brother. I was the older brother, so I was, like, the influencer. But there's always, like, someone older than him. So I worked at a video store at the time. I was, like, 16 or 17. So this would have been, like... I saw it when it was ended up being on VHS. Yeah. So this was, like, 97, 98. And, I worked in an independent video store. We would talk shit about customers all the time. The two guys that worked there with me were about 5 years older, so they're like early mid-20s. Yeah. So they're dropping knowledge on me about films, and they're like, "You have to watch Clerks." And I was like,
"That's really cool." I didn't know you worked at independent movies.
Yeah,
really cool.
Before Blockbuster, I fucking hated Blockbuster.
No shit.
Yeah, I worked at.
So did the world.
Yeah, yeah. So they crushed all of us independent video stores, and they made me watch Clerks. So I remember taking it to my friend Cox's house, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I got this black and white movie, which calls people to groan and dismiss it immediately."
Of course.
About these video store clerks, and which is half true, and I played it, and we had a great time, man. And I fell in love with the movie, and Kevin Smith ended up being probably one of the main people. It's like him and Lloyd Kaufman that made me think that I could make a movie because Clerks, and to a lesser extent, Mallrats and Chasing Amy are just him making movies with his friends.
Yeah, and if you have you ever watched An Evening with Kevin Smith?
Yes.
Yeah, I think in that he talks about making Clerks because he made it on fucking shoestring budget.
He sold all his comic books.
Yeah, exactly. Like
they illegally put I think they got like flood insurance on a car or something, or something like Jason Mewes parked the car at the bottom of a hill.
Oh, when you listen to Evening Kevin Smith, the stories he tells about like young Jason Mewes is fucking insane.
Yes.
Like the story about how he met him, how he was like sucking off a joystick and like a fucking video game. Like, it's so good.
It's like thank God he met Kevin Smith or he would be dead.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we're veering off topic because there's Kevin Smith has a huge world of stories. Like you said, Evening with Kevin Smith, he has all these podcasts. They're not as good as ours. Just keep listening to ours.
Don't.
He has like 17 of them. But Clerks was a special movie to me, man, because it gave a voice to the 90s slacker culture and someone I related
watched Clerks
to
this morning, so it's fresh in my head too.
And, Randall is definitely someone I probably looked up to a little too much.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. He's such a
he is, but okay, so let's get into it.
But he
man.
embodies like the I don't know. You know me. I literally one time you said to me, "Everybody thinks you hate everything or you just don't care about anything." I was like, yeah, that's a pretty good embodiment. I get this. I relate with Randall. He's just like, he's just tired of everyone's shit, and he doesn't care. He just says what's on his mind and does what he wants.
Yeah, but Randall does have his own code. So Clerks is about a day in the life, which I like this One Crazy Day movies of two convenience store clerks. One's named Dante. He works at your typical convenience store, and Randall works at the neighboring video store, but he spends more time during his work day at the convenience store, as I would imagine if I was in that same scenario.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, the video store that I worked at was next to a High's, which is a Pennsylvania, Maryland chain of convenience stores. So I had the same setup, so it was even cooler.
That is pretty cool.
That way. So this starts the theme of this trilogy, which I think is the overlaying theme.
I've been to the Quick Stop too, but I think
Cool. Cool trivia. The overlying theme of, I guess, Lang or Lying Works, the overlying theme of these movies is, to me, emotionally immature males.
Yeah.
And,
for sure.
Yeah. Just like they're just,
especially hindsight 2020.
Yeah, because once you became older, once you outgrew the characters, like you become older than the characters. Yeah, it's very apparent.
Well, that's the idea.
We were both younger than these characters when we watched the movie.
Yeah, I think what are they, 23, 25 area?
I take it they have to be. They have to be at least. I'm
pretty sure he says 22 or something like that. I don't know, 23, but they're somewhere around then. Like looking back, like I see that, and just they are very emotionally immature, and they always talk about like Kevin. A big thing about Kevin Smith is like I don't know, like the sex culture of like late teens, early 20s. Like it's like a through line through all his movies. So
yeah, I mean it's true. These guys are like, especially Dante. He's very insecure. He's like he's constantly, the grass is greener type guy. He has a girlfriend played by Marilyn Gigliotti, different spelling, no relation.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Veronica. And Veronica, brings him food, visits him, shows interest in his life. And by, everything this film shows is like a great girlfriend, like everything you could expect. He pines for Caitlin, who's like his ex-high school girlfriend, who he's well aware of as is the whole neighborhood that she's cheated on him.
Yeah.
And she's coming back, and he's been having a phone relationship with her. Of course, Randall disapproves. Randall, he's a shithead, but again, and they bring this up at the end of the movie, like he sees life for how it is. Like he's cool with
no
his
nonsense.
Yeah, he doesn't like make anything more than it is. Like his job, he sees it for what it is. Maybe a little too much, like his opening scene where he's opening the video store late, and the lady's waiting to get like dental school or whatever.
Well, yeah, he's like, I'll get that movie.
Yeah, and he's like, he's trolling her. Is fantastic. The No Time for Love, Dr. Jones.
Yeah,
is great.
Yeah, that's actually one of the lines I was like, I'm gonna talk to Frank, but or say that to.
I say it all the time, but so the movie goes throughout the day. Kind of buried the lead. It's one of the many lines repeated. Is that Dante, to kind of tell his character as he wasn't even supposed to be there today. He gets called into work. His boss tricks him, and tricks him into working on his day off, which spawns the whole series about Dante feeling sorry for himself.
Not just that. It's just horrible. He should feel sorry for himself. So one thing about this character is like the shittiest shit happens to him the entire movie, like over and over again. He just gets crapped on the entire movie.
Half of it's Randall's fault, half of it's his own fault. Like we can go through that.
Some of it, yeah, but most of it's Randall's fault.
The cigarette fight is Randall's fault. I mean, that's probably the only thing that's Randall's fault.
Yeah.
And
the funeral part, which I'm pretty sure isn't in Clerk's cartoon or something. They do what happens in the funeral.
Yeah, they did in
scene.
comic book form for sure.
Comic book form, yeah.
They
do
the Clerk's cartoon.
Yeah. Which, by the way, if you can pull anything out of this, watch Clerk's the cartoon. Fantastic. It's only like 6 episodes or something.
Yeah, and that kind of speaks to the impact of Clerks. Like it was part of the resurgence of independent film. It was a big deal.
Yeah, you're right.
It helped bring up a studio called, the Miramax. Can't say I've heard of it.
Yeah, no, not familiar.
Yeah. Along with Do the Right Thing, there's a book called it's like Spike, Ike, Slackers, and Dykes, I think. I really hope I'm not making that up, but it's about Spike Lee. God, I really hope I got that right. It's about Spike Lee, Richard Linklater. Please be a book.
Please be wrong.
Yeah, Spike, Mike, Slackers, and Dykes.
Okay.
And it's about that early 90s independent film culture that came, and Kevin Smith is one of the forefathers of that. So we kind of explained in a roundabout way what the movie was about. It is black and white. It dissects the life of a clerk, the day-to-day life of it, and in a weird way.
Doing a pretty good job. All the typical retail or clerk shit happens. Stupid customers, people doing weird stuff, and it's laid out in a very I don't know. It's definitely an independent movie. The way it all its scenes are divided up by black screens with white words, white font, just saying
to look like an art house film.
Yeah, and then all the typical quintessential Kevin Smith shit, when you think about an independent movie, close-up shots, the whole intro, oh, I'm ready today. It literally starts in the most quintessentially independent film way, a dude
guy
wakes
waking
up wakes up and gets a phone call.
Garden
waking
State
up is the fucking deal.
Yeah.
Wakes up, phone call, and then all close-ups. Oh, him making coffee, close-up of the coffee. Or he does. He actually pours milk into a bunch of coffee grounds and drinks it. Just close-ups of him picking up his keys and random shit like that. It's
Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. But not as good. But it's still good. But it seems like Kevin Smith definitely, I don't know whether or not he pioneered that style or not, because I couldn't tell you. I don't know enough to say whether or not he like who has done that kind of shooting before him, but I can tell you that thinking about making movies as a kid, me and my friend Jesse did many a time. We wrote screenplays for shit, and we wrote a screenplay called like Comic Shop, which is kind of like in the vein of a Kevin Smith movie.
I did one with the video store.
Yeah, about like a comic book store, and we did the same thing. Very like always thinking about like up close shots, like pouring a drink, it's close up of it, like just shit like that. Like I don't know if he pioneered it, but it's definitely an inspiration. I feel like, or if not, it set up some tropes
for sure, and it's one of the most memorable early workplace comedies, which is always relatable. Like I've related this, but I never had an office job before I saw Office Space, and that was really relatable.
Yeah.
So those work just as just 'cause people hate their jobs. So you'll relate to a character who hates his job. Also, like, there's that scene, I think it's like pre-iced coffee, because there's the one guy that kind of looks like Saddam Hussein's like, you got no ice? What do you mean? I got to drink this coffee hot? Do you remember that scene? Yeah. As they go through all the horrible customers. It's one of the movies that I'm always worried isn't going to hold up, but I think it's kind of timeless in a way.
Clerks definitely is timeless because there's nothing... I don't know, like, you maybe you could say the social climate makes it a little... not less timeless, you know what I mean? Like, you could think of things nowadays being like held differently, but for the most part, all the content is pretty generic. So, and not in a bad way though. Like, I mean generic in like the sense that like
it's relatable.
Relatable, exactly. It's still relatable.
Convenience
to this
stores,
day.
like no matter how rich or poor you are, you spend time in a convenience store.
People,
more or less so, depending on where you fall,
exactly.
social economically.
People being shitty customers, weird customers, going through weird relationship things, working in a convenience store, all these things still apply today. Like there's very few things that are unrelatable to today, and that's what makes a timeless movie to begin with, like the fact that like it's not built in some sort of weird like bubble about that time. Like Clerks doesn't scream 90s in any way other than the, like I said, the moderate social things about like the dating and shit like that. So
and it shows off one of Kevin Smith's talents is that he finds the unheralded character person interesting, and he makes them interesting. Like there's talent there. I mean, the movie's funny for a reason. It's a cast of unknowns. Brian O'Halloran is perfect as Dante, and then
looking at his Google image thumbnail right now, he does not look like he held up well. I don't know if you can see that from here.
I'm not going to be mean to him. I think he looks handsome. We're not going to trash actors, but Jeff Anderson, man, nails
he looks
Randall.
Like he held up well,
And Kevin Smith was initially going to play Randall. That's why he got all the best lines. The movie is still funny as fuck, and I will tell
Kevin
you,
Smith can't act.
I could barely contain myself when I knew the spit water scene was coming up.
Such a good scene. Yeah.
As soon as the guy starts reading the tabloid, I'm like dying. Like that scene still fucking holds up. Hey, Sonny boy, you got any of that soft stuff?
Fuck, there's like I like the whole like.
You're covering your face so people probably can't hear.
Sorry. I like the whole roof hockey scene. I really like that. Like something about that. Like just like because I can relate. Like something me and my friends did was like fuck off and play hockey in weird places, straight hockey in weird places. So
I think it's a good entry level if you're trying to get someone into Kevin Smith movies. I think it's the movie that most people will like universally.
Yeah, I agree. I think Clerks is probably his best.
Yeah, well, at least of these three, you feel that way.
Yeah.
Let's not spoil. So next up was Mallrats. A year later, again, two guys emotionally immature. They get dumped by their girlfriends in this one.
And they're like my age. They're like 25, 26.
You think they are?
Yeah,
I was wondering
about
that.
something about being 25, I think.
Okay. I'm like, why are these guys not hanging out at the bar? It's so weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
It should be Barflies, not Mallrats. So, but whatever. We'll get past that. So two guys are dumped by their girlfriends. They go to the mall just out of like instinct. Talk about their day.
Or Jason Lee hangs out there.
Yeah, that's just where he goes. He's just gonna walk it off. Instead of going to a bar, they go to a mall. It's starring introducing Jason Lee as Brody, which is I think one of the best Kevin Smith characters ever.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay,
and I love Jason Lee. First of all, Jason Lee, ex-professional skateboarder. So I don't know if you know about that. Yeah, great.
His name used to be Earl.
Yeah, he he invented a trick called the 360 flip, which is literally one of the most quintessential skateboard tricks ever.
I don't see how it's a big deal. I've done it on my fingerboard like millions of times.
I'm sure you haven't. I'm sure you haven't. I'm just saying, if you knew...
I said fingerboard.
If you knew about skate culture... Yes, I know, like a tech deck.
Yeah.
If you knew about skate culture and you knew how, like, literally how, like, much of a pillar that trick is, it's cool that Jason Lee invented, like, he came up with that.
He's a cool guy, and I definitely, like, fell in love with that character, Brody. I thought he's fantastic.
Great character.
He's relatable. He's an asshole. His sidekick, we'll say, is T.S. Quint, because that's a subject.
How do you know he's not my sidekick?
Yeah. Brody's girlfriend, Jason Lee's character's girlfriend, is Renee, played by Shannon Doherty. And T.S. Quint, Jeremy London's girlfriend, is Brandy, played by Claire Forlane.
And all these characters are mentioned in Clerks. Not the two dudes, but like Brandy's mentioned in Clerks.
Yeah, and vice versa. Like they talk about there's a shared universe there for sure. Also features Ben Affleck playing great, like, total asshole Shannon, the manager of, was it Modern Mail or something?
No, it's a Fashionable Male.
Fashionable male who likes to have sex with women in a very uncomfortable place. He
like the back of a Volkswagen?
Yes, we made that joke successfully. Joey Lauren Adams has a short cameo, or I would say more cameo. She's a short role. She's in a couple scenes as Gwen. And then Jay and Silent Bob return.
High five.
Nope, not doing that. Jay and Silent Bob, of course, are in it. They're a staple in almost every Kevin Smith movie. Stan Lee, this is where we're introduced to, like, the screen-stealing skills of Stan Lee.
Oh, yeah. Also, hold on. I want to get to that, but one of my favorite scenes in this movie is with Jay and Silent Bob when he's like, all right, show the fucking kitten some love. I love that.
That's like their introduction. They're like knocking, they're like rapping
on the fucking, like, the pet store glass.
Yes. And then I forget how far we're down on the cast. Oh, so Stan Lee, Ethan Suplee.
Yes, is this one of his first, like...
Yes.
Yes, because I thought about it. I was like, oh my god, like, he's in every Marvel movie as, like, his stick is to be a cameo. I was like, but is this his first? Like, I kept thinking that, like...
And he's fantastic in it.
He is.
And finally, Michael Roker, who plays Renee's dad and the host of the upcoming... to say Renee, Brandy's dad, and the host of the upcoming fucking dating show, the dating game ripoff that they're going to host at the mall.
Yeah.
And Roker's fucking amazing in this. He's one of the best parts of the movie. I was most concerned that this movie wasn't going to hold up, but I still liked it, man. It's got the one crazy day thing. I know it's mostly sentimental.
I don't think it held up.
Really? Tell me why not.
Because more of this movie exists in 1994. Is that when it came out? Or 6?
95.
95, okay. More of this movie comes from existing in that time.
Okay.
So, like, looking back at it in retrospect, it's, like, dated to me. And that might be me personally, because I have a further connection from it. If it came out in 95, I was fucking 5 years old. So I watched it already 10 years later when I was a kid, you know? And now here, we're 20 plus years later. It's just, to me, like, a lot of this stuff is very dated. Like, the things they talk about, the things they say, and that...
They pop a VHS tape into a VCR at the end of the movie.
Yeah. But that doesn't say I didn't like it. I still laughed. I still like the characters. I'm just saying, like, the overall... And I still like the whole dirt mall scene, because I'm a big flea market aficionado
I'm a big flea market aficionado as well.
So, like, I like the idea, like, oh, let's go to the dirt mall. And it's just... It gets that vibe, but I don't relate to the characters, because to me, like, when I was a kid, everyone who was older than me seemed way older than me, and that's how they seem. Like, I'm like, they're not fucking 26 here. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, I don't know.
I get you. Yeah, like when you're a teenager, 25-year-old's like a man.
Yeah,
it's like Todd in Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah,
is that the name? Yeah, the guy with the blonde mullet.
Yeah,
you're talking about. Yeah, when you're watching this movie, everyone in that movie was Todd to you. Yeah, I mean, it used to be a comfort movie for me, dude. I saw Mallrats like dozens of times. It was like go-to-bed movie. It was one of my favorite comedies. I listened to the director's commentary more than once. Well, you know, how they thought that it was going to be a huge success, like the next Porky's, which made me think, was Porky's like a theatrical, like,
I don't know about theatrical, but I'm pretty sure it was. It's got definitely, if not some cult status, something about it, but... I watched the extended edition too, and I had no idea. I had never seen it. So, like, it starts with some random scene. I remember texting you, like, am I watching the same fucking movie? What's going on here? Like, it changes the movie between the extended edition and the regular edition. Like, it adds a lot of different dialogue. It adds a lot of different things to it.
How much longer do you think that extended version is?
It can't be more than 10 minutes.
No, it's 30 minutes longer.
Are you fucking
So you
kidding
watched
me?
a completely different movie than me.
Yeah, because it changes a lot of the dialogue. A lot of the things that the extended edition starts...
So explain that, yeah.
Yeah, the extended edition starts with a different introduction. It introduces the characters differently. I remember the movie originally starts, I think, with him coming to her house and they talk about some things. I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's been so long.
That's how the standard version.
Yeah, not the extended. Yeah, sorry.
He pulls up, he's picking her up, they're getting ready to go on vacation.
Exactly. Because I remember there's a scene where, like, the father's, like doing like a pseudo like punching thing, and his towel
Michael
falls
Roker
off.
is wearing a towel and kicking a punching bag.
I'm like waiting for that scene, and it's some weird governor's ball thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And there's some like weird thing where like he's like dressed as like a revolutionary soldier, and he's like on a play, and he's on the roof with her, and they're having like an argument, and his gun gets stuck in her hair, and as he's trying to release it, it looks like he's trying to assassinate the mayor. So like there's like this big fucking debacle. And that relates throughout the whole movie. Like, people keep going up to him like, wait, aren't you that guy trying to kill the president? Like, you know, it keeps like escalating like telephone game style, like to different things happening. So like it changes the movie. So many dialogue things that aren't in the standard edition show up in this one as like that, like, hey, aren't you that guy? Aren't you that guy? Or like he's like, wait, didn't you try to do this? Or like it just changes the dialogue. It doesn't change the core of the movie at all.
I agree. I've seen it once or twice.
It doesn't change the core of the movie, but it definitely presents some new like situations that didn't exist in the standard edition. I suggest the standard edition. It's less corny, but
you also get 30 minutes more of your life back.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad movie. I mean, it's fair to call it dated. The things I enjoy most about it rewatching it is Brody. I think he's still great. Michael Roker.
Yeah.
That
kid is back on the escalator again.
Yeah, the recurring mall jokes. The fucking weirdo kid that makes the horrified expression when they beat up the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
But yeah.
And Stan Lee. So there's a lot there. It's.
I have a question. Did you go to the mall when you were a kid? Because
I did. It was within walking/bike riding distance. So
which one? East Point?
Nope.
No.
The Ring, baby.
The Ring. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember watching that thing get demolished. Like,
yep.
Because now it's like a whole shopping center.
You have a movie theater built inside.
Golden Ring Mall. Wow, that brings it back. Well, we went to White Marsh, and East Point's like 45-minute walk from my house. I know because we used to walk it every weekend to watch movies.
Yeah.
But we used to go to White Marsh. Same thing. We'd hang out at the mall. So like something about that being a teenager, like literally, I always wanted to do the Brody thing where he gets a Dixie cup. If you've never seen the movie,
Yeah.
he has a Dixie cup and he just keeps asking a place to like fill it up. So me and my buddy Jesse used to do that, like bring a Dixie cup to the mall and see if we could just like carry it around drinking it all night.
I never did that thing. That's fantastic. I did. Well, I had an East Point Mall time too when I was like a later teenager. Me and my friend Chad would go there either drunk or stoned. And I remember we went in every sporting goods store and opened up all the tennis ball things. They have like their sealed air cans. We're going to open up every tennis ball container in this mall.
We used to skate in the parking garage of East Point and down in the laser tag place. But it's cool. Like, I relate to that. It brings back memories of hanging out at the mall.
It was the social media. Like, it was, what Facebook is now for sure. And I'm not saying either is better or worse. They're both kind of terrible and great.
Yeah.
In their own ways.
So dated, but I didn't hate it. I thought when you were talking about you're like, I'm worried it's not going to hold up, I was the same way because it meant something to me too. And then I'm glad it didn't like ruin it watching it for me.
Agreed. Finally, the one I thought was going to be the most problematic and dated.
Yeah.
Because it was like heralded as like a coming of age and like,
There's no way Kevin Smith didn't suck Harvey Weinstein's dick to get this movie made.
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Because this movie is bad, but continue.
Anyways, you just reminded me of how I'm going to promote this podcast, by the way.
What?
I'm going to post a picture of Kevin Smith's jorts.
Yes.
and say, just like these jorts, the episode is not too short or too long. It's the perfect length.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Anyways, palate cleanser for your Weinstein joke.
I'm sorry. It's true.
Chasing Amy is like his response to he admits this as his response to the harsh criticism of Mallrats, because like Clerks was, like I said earlier, was held up as this like, indie darling, and Mallrats was kind of a trashy R-rated comedy, and they were trying to bring back R-rated comedy. I don't know if you remember this, or if a lot of people realize this, but R-rated comedies were not getting pushed at all by the major studios. They weren't getting theatrical releases.
What, in like early mid-90s?
In early mid-90s, not at all. Pre-American Pie. That's why Kevin Smith put a lot of those American Pie actors in his movies after that, because he was jealous. Like, he was trying to make American Pie.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah,
before that, like, it was PG-13, man. It was Adam Sandler movies. That's it. And
yeah, because I guess the last R-rated comedies died out in like late 80s. So,
exactly. So Mallrats was a swing at that, and it was a miss. So it probably delayed the R-rated comedy comeback even further, unfortunately.
That's an interesting take.
So he got like all kinds of harsh criticism, from the people that really built him up through the film world when Clerks came out.
Yeah.
So, this is like his try-hard effort. The thing I didn't think was going to hold up in Chasing Amy is that, so the topic, it's about, two comic book artists, one, Banky, played by Jason Lee, and his partner, Holden McNeil, who falls in love with Alyssa Jones, who is gay. So this was, a topic that wasn't really dealt with, even in indie movies, which Miramax at the time was like a major mini, if that makes sense. They were huge. Think of all the Quentin Tarantino movies. Miramax, you've seen that intro probably dozens of times if you're listening to this podcast. So obviously, that's not, it's not like such a interesting topic on its own as it is, as it was then, because it's more accepted. You know what I mean? It's not.
And I don't know. This is definitely the movie that suffers from the hindsight, because, like, looking back, you're just like, ugh. Like, just as progressive we are with that, like, topic nowadays, looking back at this, it's just so, like, it's just cringy. Like,
well, yeah, it's what I want to get to. It's kind of, I was, like, rushing along the two to kind of, like, put them all under one blanket statement. It's like, yes, all the characters, all the males in all three of his movies are at least the the leads, which is usually it's a pair of males in each one, which is a common theme. They're
but it's a dude fighting a dude, in all fairness.
Yeah,
so,
but and I think the way he deals with this is that, which I think makes like the characters cringeworthy. You could say the characters are homophobic or like
or at least
sexist.
Banky is.
But I don't think the movies are, because the way he portrays these characters to detail. They're they don't understand relationships. Like I said, they're very insecure and immature, but the female characters, they don't get much playtime, but they're always shown as like the more mature side, the more respectable side in all these movies. And he tries to write Alyssa more thoroughly than any female character up until this point. And I mean, I guess it could be cringeworthy, but you gotta admit, like, this movie is very mid 90s, like
late
90s.
For
like,
sure.
He nails the theme. Like, if you want the time and place of like the comic book / I guess nerd culture, what you want to call, and like their acceptance to gay culture, I think it's pretty accurate on that. I joked before watching this that it seemed like Kevin Smith went to a gay bar once and like tried to write a movie about it.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I don't know. Like, I agree with you. You said it right. The movie itself is not a bad view about that, but the characters are like, Banky's character is like so bad. Like, just like the shit he says. Like, I guess like people think like that. I guess I'm just like I'm like probably in a progressive person's bubble, to be honest.
He's like 25. Like you said,
exactly.
as a teenager, I probably talk like Banky more than I'd want to admit.
Yeah, exactly. But like it seemed like watching it in retrospect, it was just rough, and it's just not well written. Like I don't get the story. I don't care for the story. Like the characters are they're pretty well thought out. They definitely have a nice progression, but like there's nothing about the story that really like captured me and wanted me to like keep listening to what they have to say.
That's the problem, man. The whole pitch is like this, the sexual confusion of the characters, and I know a lot of people hate it because like you have this like one of the major representations of a lesbian in movies is someone who gets turned, which is weird.
Yeah.
Who like you could argue like she just like had some weird sexual experiences with men. So it's like it's confusing and it's problematic for sure. I don't think Kevin Smith was bigoted. I think he had his heart was in the right place.
Yeah, I don't think that either.
Yeah, and that's why Banky's character is constantly being like either has eyes rolled by I forget the actor's name, the writer of what's it like something Coon.
Oh, White Hating Coon.
The writer of White Hating Coon,
which is arguably that scene is one of the best.
Dwight Evil, who should never why did he disappear?
I know he's great in this.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He eye rolls or he's being scolded is my point. As Banky says this horrible shit, it's being rejected by every other character in the movie.
Yeah. I love because that's one of the best scenes of this movie is when he's they go to some bar, and I remember hearing him talking about how he tried to
the cat's meow.
Yeah, kind of recreate the Jaws scene where they're talking about the scars.
I was
and
about to bring
the
it
weird
up.
light. Yeah. Which by the way, in my theater class in high school, I did the whole. What is it? Hooper? Is that it? No, it's not Mr. Hooper. It's fucking. What's his name? When he tells the story about the USS Indianapolis, I did that whole thing as a monologue and got an applause. I remember just being like, "Yes, I am king." It was fantastic. But no,
the Jaws homage was great. And
I love when
it's Banky and it's Alyssa kind of bonding in a way. It's the only time they really get along in the movie. They're swapping sex scar stories, they're battle wounds basically.
Yeah, and this is after Ben Affleck finds out that she's gay, and he's all pissed off because he thinks that But wait, is this the movie where he has the goatee? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's a horrible goatee.
Horrible goatee. Yes. It's a good scene, but I also love the scene where Jason Lee and Hooper are arguing about Archie being gay. Because he just comes back in Archie is not fucking. What's the teacher?
Jughead.
He's like, Archie is Jughead's queen.
That's why he wears the crown.
Yeah, what the fuck? What the hell's the name of
I don't remember the teacher from Archie.
Yeah.
But it does feel dated. I'm not just talking about Ben Affleck's facial hair choices. But I have to admit, dude, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be awful, really? Unwatchable.
I did think it was that bad.
The music choices are pretty bad.
By the way, I want to rewind a little bit. I forgot to say, Clerks soundtrack, incredible.
Yeah,
it's fucking Bad Religion in there. It's great soundtrack.
Mallrats soundtrack's pretty good too.
Yeah, Mallrats intro is
Weezer
awesome.
Song, Suzanne. So yeah, some good soundtracks.
Anyway, back to
Chasing Amy has that weird boo doo 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 the opening song. Which they bring back in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back.
Which I wish we would have watched because that movie's incredible.
We can do part 2 of this. Do you find it redemptive that we find out, later on in Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back that Banky is homosexual?
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
They hit on it the whole time, and then, it's a flat out offer in the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with the way it ended because I don't know. I guess in a way, I don't know what it's supposed to say about Alyssa's character. I know he tried there.
Yeah,
I understand why people are angry at their representation. It's tough because
I'm not angry at the representation. It's just it's tough because he wrote it at that time. I can't. What kind of mindset he was in, what kind of perception he had at the time, what his politics were, for lack of a better word. I have no idea. But for me, it's just not a well-written movie. Yeah, it doesn't have a good story. It doesn't have good dialogue for the most part. It's just annoying. I don't know. I don't like any part of this movie.
It's a credit to our culture. One of the good things that we've progressed so quickly from that movie. Where this idea that was groundbreaking, which covered up all the flaws of the film when it came out for a while. 10 years later, so this is a 1997 film, 2007. The environment was different, and we say this is straight white men, but I think some people would agree the environment's got better where this idea is not absurd. And then 20 years later, how is this even a controversial topic? If anything, it would be controversial because the toxic masculinity of Banky and what it's trying to say. So looking back on it, it's a dated film, it's a dated idea. I think Alyssa's character could have been better written. Yeah. You also really don't know why he loves her so much. She's attractive and she is in the same industry as her. They don't do a good enough job of explaining that relationship either way. Why does she love him? I thought the chemistry was off in that as well.
Yeah, I agree. The chemistry is off. It seems like not that it's not forced. It's just comes out of nowhere. It seems like it's trying to like breed this like natural thing, but the actors don't have enough chemistry to sell it for me.
Agreed.
Like, because there's really no thing. Like they click right away, you know, and then they just hang out all the fucking time, and eventually it becomes like this. I can't hold it anymore. I love you. Fucking scene with the rain and shit like that.
Much better movie would have been if she never hooks up with him, but he keeps going out with her, and then Hooper and Banky hook up.
That would have been so good. Yes,
fan-fucking-tastic.
Agreed.
Yeah, he just realizes I'm just like more powerful movie too.
Oh, agreed.
You
Yeah,
know, closeted homosexual, like vocal homophobic person falls happily in love with another comic book artist. That'd been great.
But instead, Batman has to do all this bullshit in this movie.
So, in closing, like of the first 3 films, man, like were you disappointed overall?
Still like Clerks. Mm-hmm. I'd watch Mallrats again. I'll watch it again in 10 years to see how it holds up. It held some significance to me as far as being a kid who liked making movies and little bullshit videos and stuff like that. Chasing Amy, I always thought was garbage. I still think it's garbage. But overall, I still like Kevin Smith as a filmmaker. I thought I'd turn on him a little bit, but I still like him as a filmmaker.
Yeah, man. The appeal in the beginning to Kevin Smith was that he was one of us.
Yeah.
And, it's like he's doing what we want to do, make movies with our friends about our friends and what was going on in our lives, and that was cool. I agree, oddly enough, that the oldest movie, Clerks, holds up the best because it's just a more universal idea, I guess. And the other 2 are more specific, especially Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
But Chasing Amy and Mallrats, I thought held up a little better than I thought, and I think they're interesting movies.
Mallrats definitely held up better than I thought. Yeah.
And I think I would like, if you're going to get into his newer stuff, you should watch these to have more appreciation for who he is. Or if you just listen to his podcast, you should watch these movies.
I say we do Jane Silent Bob Strikes Back,
Dogma,
Jersey Girl. Oh, okay, sorry, Dogma. What about, is Zack and Miri count? Did he write that or just direct it?
No, he directed it. Yeah,
because that's if we're gonna put that in the realm, that's his best movie he's ever made.
Zack and Miri?
Yeah, because that movie's incredible.
Well, we'd have to do these in chronological. I mean, if you're interested, I will go on the ride with you. But
yeah, I'll do another Kevin Smith one.
There's if you're doing chronologically, so the next one we would do, it's not gonna be our next podcast.
Yeah, but
after those 3, which is considered the Jersey trilogy, and not your part of Jersey, right?
No, this is more north. This is Red Bank, and it's kind of like mid to North Jersey.
Yeah, so the next 3 we would do would be Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and Jersey Girl.
Yeah, Jersey Girl, garbage. Here, I'll solve it for you right now. Jersey Girl sucks. Liv Tyler, Elf, not... I don't care. James Bob Strikes Back, incredible.
So we don't have to do this episode now.
And Dogma, yeah, whatever.
Dogma,
Ben
more
Affleck.
Like dog shit.
Yeah, buddy, am I right? Why are you
Sound of a high five. Anyways, that's it for our episode of Bitching About Movies. Thanks for enduring my sickness and probably like incoherent thoughts at times. And thanks for joining me, Christopher.
Yeah, hey, also, Live Quest Podcast. Remember, check me out. Don't forget, you don't promo me anymore, you son of a bitch.
Do it yourself. I leave it.
Okay, yes. Look up Live Quest Podcast if you like D&D and grotesque comedy. Assuming some more Miramax Weinstein jokes. We're probably a place to find them. Pretty dark. But check us out.
The good thing about you saying those things at the end is it's easier to edit them out. You guys have a great night, morning, evening, day. Bye.
Willem.
Oh, hey, Ronnie. How you been, man? What, do you work here now?
No, I was visiting my man. Dante, this is Willem Black. This is Dante Hicks, my boyfriend.
Hey, how you doing? Just a soda? No, and a pack of cigarettes. So where you been, man? Are you still going to Seton Hall?
No, I transferred into Monmouth this year. I was tired of missing him.
That's beautiful, man. So, you still talk to Sylvan?
I just talked to her on Monday. We still hang out on weekends.
Oh, that's great. Well, you 2 lovebirds take it easy, okay?
Bye. Take it easy. That was Snowball.
Why do you call him that?
Sylvan made it up. It's a blowjob thing.
What do you mean?
After he gets a blowjob, he likes to have it spit back into his mouth while kissing. It's called snowballing.
He requests this?
He gets off on it.
Sylvan can be talked into anything.
Why do you say that?
Well, like you said, she snowballed him.
Sylvan? No, I snowballed him.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious.
You sucked that guy's dick?
Yeah, how do you think I knew that he...
Wait, but you said you only had sex with 3 different guys. You never mentioned him.
Because I never had sex with him.
You sucked his dick.
We went out a few times. We never had sex, but we fooled around.
Oh, my God. Why did you tell me you only had sex with 3 different guys?
Because I did only have sex with 3 different guys. That doesn't mean I didn't just go with people.
Oh, my God. I feel so nauseous.
Sorry, Dante. I thought you understood.
I did understand. I understood that you had sex with 3 different guys, and that's all you said.
Please calm down.
How many?
Dante.
How many dicks have you sucked?
Go.
How many?
Right, shut up a second and I'll tell you. Jesus, I didn't freak out like this when you told me how many girls you fucked.
This is different. This is important. How many?